Hi guys. Hope everyone's doing well. You're probably looking at me and saying, "Hey, where's this suit? Where's that fancy T-shirt? And where's that green screen?" Well, and I guess I have a confession to make. I did record a video, and then as I was recording, and I came to the completion of the recording, I realized that the script did not do justice to the topic. The topic's a banger. I'm really excited about this topic. I will make a video on it in the near future. I don't know when exactly, but it will happen. And so I thought, let's not put a subpar product or a product that doesn't touch my heart or doesn't make me feel good. So what I want to do today is kind of go down a different path and just talk to you guys. Just talk about random stuff. Just have a conversation. Think of it as me kind of sitting in therapy, just talking to you guys. And I really don't have a script because my script that I did have, I consumed it and I didn't like it. So I just made some notes. I have some notes in front of me, and I'm just gonna talk to you guys. So let's get started. Um, I guess I guess I just want to talk about the profession of accounting first of all. A lot of kids nowadays are really threatened and scared of AI, and I think it's a legitimate fear. My one of my boys, I have three boys, and one of them wants to go into film production, and he's got his doubts about going into the profession because he's scared that AI might just take over the entire process of producing a film. Like the concept of using actors might disappear. So he's like, should I do something else? Like he is kind of wishy washy. But I said, dude, just follow your passion, right? And I wish. So as for myself, I got into accounting because I kind of backed myself into it. Kind of what my son would have done had I not told him and kind of almost encouraged him to follow his passion. And I kind of backed into accounting because I thought growing up in high school I wasn't smart enough to be in sciences. And I thought sciences were for the smart kids, like the geniuses out there. And I didn't think I was one of those kids. And because I didn't have that confidence in myself, I used to cheat my way through physics. A friend of mine who actually became an engineer was very, focused and dedicated towards physics, and I wasn't. So I would just, somehow manage to get my answers and get my. I still actually got 80 above 80%, which I find kind of impressive. I don't know how I got it above 80. I kind of makes me wonder that I guess maybe I could have done it. But anyways, but I was good at math. And as I've told you in one of my previous videos, my dad used to really, you know, enforce the math. Like he would just summer holidays math, weekends you do your math. We're driving somewhere on a road trip, he'd give us math problems to do, like these and these long form multiplications just to help us, kill time and I guess learn while we're at it. So math was heavily ingrained in me. And then me not knowing anything as a teenager, I thought, oh, I guess I'm good at numbers, I'm good at math, therefore I will be good at accounting. And that's how I kind of got into accounting. But as time has gone on in my profession, as I moved up the ranks, I realized what I enjoyed more than the accounting was the teaching part. I loved it when new interns or new people recruited into the company, and then I would show them the ropes. I always volunteered for those roles. And then when my wife suggested I do this YouTube video, that was just, I thought it was like the stroke of genius. Like, oh my God, I get to teach not just one client in front of me, but hopefully one day, maybe hundreds of thousands or millions of people simultaneously, right? And just that thought really excited me. And then I started my YouTube channel. And that's also what encouraged me to get into my accounting profession as well. It wasn't more so the thought of making lots of money or the independence, even though that was very enticing. But life was good before I went into my own practice. Life was really good, but it was just the thought of maybe I can do something for my community. I actually started off for my South Asian community because I felt that they weren't getting the guidance that they needed. And then I quickly realized is that they, the first generation of Indians coming in, they have a different mindset. They don't know what estate planning is, because in India, when the parents pass, the family home just automatically goes to the children, and there's no taxes on these properties, whether it's investment property or your primary property. And then same with all the wealth, all the money and the gold. In India, people keep a lot of gold, so the gold just automatically went, to the next generation, and there was no tax consequences. So this estate planning thing was very foreign to them. India has a very cash-based economy. It's changed now over the past 10 years, but prior to that was a very heavy cash-based economy. And so again, so they just kind of, a lot of tax evasion through cash, and they kind of had a similar mindset. And I realized it's going to take them a while to get out of that mindset. So it just wasn't the right fit for me. Because teaching is one thing, but convincing is another thing. And I don't know the art of convincing. It's not my strength. So anyways, so I kind of pivoted, and I was like, okay, whoever I can help, I'll just help. I really don't care where they're from, as long as I'm helping someone. And that's what really brought me satisfaction. And what the interesting part is, I guess, talking about the whole accounting profession and teaching and all that stuff, is that my wife works for a large, it's called the Big Four. So the four largest accounting firms, or global accounting firms, they're called the Big Four. My wife works for them. And, obviously because of the Big Four, they have the best pay rates. They got the best perks and bonuses, and it looks really good on your resume. Then Fortune 500 companies want to hire you. It just brings a certain level of prestige. And I was speaking with her, and she told me that, yes, everyone wants to work with us because they are the gold standard. Kind of like every tech graduate wants to work for Apple and Google and Tesla. But she says the quality of the students has deteriorated significantly. Whereas sometimes you're just filling in a position where you're hiring someone, not because you want them, but because there's really no one else left to hire. The quality is just so bad that you have no choice but to hire this individual. And then it kind of got me thinking, is if these Big Four can't find proper, adequate students who are actually students of their trade and their craft, then what chances do we have as street level accountants to grow our firm and become, like a big 30, 40, 50 employee firm, right? That kind of becomes a pipe dream for us. So if we can grow it even 2, 3, 4, 5 people, that in itself is quite the accomplishment. And then the stress level is very high when you're working with small and medium-sized businesses. They're just cut from a different cloth. It's kind of funny. Sometimes when you meet these clients at networking events and they don't know what you do, they talk this high and mighty talk, like, yeah, I got this business and it's doing amazing and I've seen exponential growth and this and that. And then you tell them you're an accountant, and then when they want to engage you, they start playing this small business card on you. Like, hey, I'm just a small entrepreneur. I can't afford these fees. But prior to that, they're like all, I'm like the next, billionaire, just waiting to sprout. So I find that very interesting. And I guess the other thing is that, let me just quickly look at my notes and see what are the things I wrote. Now, I guess when you go into, let's talk about entrepreneurship for a little while. Let me give you 2 pros and 2 cons of all those people out there who want to start their own business or have started their business. These are 2 pros and 2 cons, and I'm sure you've heard of these from different people in different places. 2 cons is, number 1, it can get very lonely. You don't have a support group. So back in the corporate world, I had my posse, right? When I became director of finance, head of finance for different regions, I used to speak with other heads of other departments. So the head of HR or the head of IT or whatever, we kind of became our clique. And then I had, 3, 4 people I could vent with and talk with and bounce ideas and find out what's happening in the company. But I don't have that sounding board anymore. And that is, like I said, feels a little lonely, right? I can speak to my wife, but then she's also an accountant. And when she's done her work, last thing she wants to talk about is accounting or business. It's the last thing on her mind. And I don't blame her, right? So that's one challenge. And the second challenge is it's the it's the relinquishment of power. So when you work in the corporate world and you move up to a certain level, you have this prestige. You go to these fancy conferences and you travel. I used to go to trade shows to New Orleans and Vegas, and it was a phenomenal experience. We would have like $60,000 budgets to set up a booth and have all these fancy things happening. 3 4 staff members would come along and do these fancy dinners and entertain clients and go to sporting events and get these boxes. So it was a very different lifestyle. It was stressful, it was hard work, but there was this prestige to it. And when you come down to your own business, that prestige disappears. Those trips disappear. The boxes at the Air Canada Center disappear. The hotels and all these fancy conferences disappeared, trying to find free tickets and who do I know and this and that. So the mindset completely changes, and that took a and that hurt my ego. I can't lie, that did hurt my ego, because before we go to restaurants, and I knew the company was paying for it, so everyone be a table of 10 15 20 people. They would order apps and all these fancy drinks, and the dinners are coming and the desserts, and everyone got a coffee or a liqueur at the end. It was just a different mindset. And now it's just like, hey, I'll order that one entree, and can I have a doggy bag to take the rest with me, right? So it's a completely different mindset, which did bruise my ego. But then the two pros, and these pros, I guess, pertain to who I am as a person. I've realized that I don't like to work within rules. It's funny, I'm an accountant because accounting is nothing but rules. Tax is nothing but rules. But once I'm outside that, I'm now free to run my business how I want. I can work with who I want. I can drop the bad clients if I want. I can charge what I want, and if people don't want to pay it, they can go elsewhere. So I have these freedoms which I didn't have before. And the other pro for me is the unpredictability of it all. Like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Who's going to call me? Who's going to email me? It's just very exciting. I have these calls lined up with some people I've never spoken to before. So I don't know where these conversations are going to lead. And the unknown excites me, I guess. So those are my pros and cons. And yeah, I guess in closing, I just want to say to all you young adults out there and all you kids who don't know what they want to do with their profession, I would highly encourage the accounting profession. It doesn't pay off well the first year or two. I'll be very honest with you. And those studies can get a little dry. However, once you get past that 2 3 year mark, your salary then starts to increase pretty rapidly. And we have a huge, like I alluded to before, we have a huge shortage of accountants coming in the pipeline. Enrollment is down. Dropouts at the university level is at an all-time high. So a lot of the students that are being pushed through the system really are of no value. So, in university, we learned that the generation below us would always come up and challenge us and push us and kind of keep us on our toes. But it feels like I don't have any competition, right? It's a good thing and a bad thing, but it does give me this extra sense of security. And so all you guys out there who don't know what you want to do, look into accounting. You never know, right? It might just be your cup of tea. You might just enjoy the numbers. You might just enjoy working within a sandbox and following these rules. and these legislations and compliance and all that fun stuff, right? So give it a shot, give it a thought, and it is lucrative financially. It pays well. It's highly respected. So that's all I wanted to say. And if you're still watching and listening to me babble, thank you so much. It means a lot. I've been doing this for 7 weeks now, 6 weeks, 6.5, 7 weeks. Thank you for all the views you've given me, the likes and comments. It's phenomenal. So thank you. And remember, it all starts with a simple conversation.